All right. All right, we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of the Everyday Heroes live broadcast here from the Eastern Division Young Adult Patroller Program. Glad you guys could join us for another Thursday night here. Beating the quarantine, and we got a special guest tonight. We got Ethan Baker here, live via Zoom on the flat screen, and Ethan's joining us from, where do you live in Mass again? Is it Norwood?
Norwell.
Norwell, right. So, we got Ethan here, and tonight's theme, if you've seen about it, we're going to talk about the class of 2020. So a big year for the class of 2020. And it may look like I'm alone tonight, but way back on the other side of the studio here, socially distant, we have Eastern Division Young Adult Program Supervisor Craig Larson off camera.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
So Craig is going to be his usual self, nice and loud, yelling from the other side of the room here, socially distant, doing it right during quarantine. So anyways, guys, welcome to this episode. And we're going to get right into it here. As we go through, remember, post your questions, post your comments that we can answer live, we could talk about. This is a conversation between all you guys watching live, between us here on the Young Adult Program, and with Mr. Ethan Baker here. So let's get right into it. So Ethan, just give us like a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why we're Zooming with you right now live on social media.
Sure. So my name is Ethan Baker. As Chris just said, I'm from Norwell, Mass. It's where I'm Zooming from right now. And so I just graduated high school here in Norwell. Woo-hoo! Part of the class of 2020. It's a weird time to be 18 right now, but we're just going with the flow. I'm a now I'm not in high school anymore, so I'm not a YAP anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm a patroller at Black Mountain in Jackson, New Hampshire. That's where I met these guys last December, or maybe it was 2 Decembers ago.
I think it was 2, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right. So I've been patrolling there. This will be my 5th season at Black. And I don't know. I'm just part of the class of 2020, which is what this episode's about.
Yeah, definitely. And so I think we're going to get a lot into 2020, a lot into the whole COVID situation that's going on. But let's talk a little bit more about like you as an intro. So you are from Massachusetts, but you patrol up at Black in New Hampshire. Is that Jackson?
Yes, Jackson.
Yep, Jackson. So tell us a bit like how you got involved with patrol as a young adult patroller.
Well, I am a 3rd generation skier at Black. Both my grandparents and then obviously both my parents all skied at Black. So that's always just kind of been my base for skiing. And I wasn't really into skiing for a while. And then in like 6th and 7th grade, I asked to get a season's pass. And then in 8th grade, I asked to join the race team there. So I started skiing at Black a lot more. And then during that 8th grade season, I broke my thumb, and that's when I met Dave Abel, our patrol director.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, ski patrol is kind of cool. And from there on out, I became a ranger for Black the next year, my freshman year of high school. And I just kind of discovered how cool ski patrol was in general. And from then on, I got hooked, and now it's basically my favorite thing in the world to do.
Awesome.
So
I think, and like Craig, we were on the last episode, a lot of questions were about how do we get new young adults into the program. And I think Ethan's like one of those classic cases we talked about, in the race program and got hooked in, right?
Yep.
Craig, you could say hello too, But so that's awesome. So tell me a little bit like with the patrolling side of it, because that was something like the first time Craig and I went up to visit, we met you. Like it was just pretty evident that patrolling is like what you're all about. Like I don't think no offense, you didn't stop talking the whole time. Like it was always something like, oh, how do we, what's the best way to do this? And oh, what do you guys think of this? And let me show you this place, and let's go hike up that hill and ski down. And you definitely have a love of patrolling and the outdoors, which is great. So like, what about patrol, maybe even being a young adult patroller, like gives you that fire? What gives you that passion for it?
I just love, first of all, I kind of like structure. So to have something that I could focus on and just kind of put all my energy in. And then when I realized how awesome it was, when I first like got interested in patrol was because I wanted to ski around with the radio and have a cool jacket on.
Yeah.
But that's not what it's about anymore for me. I mean, now it's just about being at the hill, and I mean, helping people is a great part, but just being able to be on the mountain all day. And before I would come over to the mountain and do 5 runs or whatever and call it a day, but now being there from 7:30 to 4:30 or whatever it is, it just, I don't know. I'm most happy when I'm at the mountain patrolling.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I think a lot of people that have patrol for years, whether it's 2, 3, 5, 50, I think that's just a common thing. You fall in love with it, and you just can't wait to get out there. It's not a burden, right?
Were you that kid with the radio who wanted to just say breaker 191919 breaker?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely wanted to contribute as much as I could. But in general, I don't know. I mean, skiing I kind of fell in love with, and then patrolling was just that cherry on top that kind of sealed the deal of wanting to do it all the time. Just working with other guys on the mountain. I've always been a more mature kid and didn't want to fool around as much. So being able to kind of be in a more mature setting and act like an adult even before I was one was a really cool experience. And to just work with older people in a more professional setting than just like screwing around on the mountain in the park.
Yeah.
Although that is fun.
It is fun. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's a big piece that shows. I mean, every young adult patroller, every patroller has to have a responsibility like that. And then you kind of got into my next question there. But just a reminder for everybody watching, feel free, jump in with your comments, your questions. Any questions yet, Laura, or comments? Oh, so we're gonna get to that one. Someone wants to know where you're going to college, but I guess you could tell us now. Go ahead. Where are you going?
All right. I will be going to Bates College in Lewiston, Maine.
Bates College.
Bates.
Yes.
Lewiston,
Every
Maine.
college I looked at is within an hour of a ski area. That was the main rule for searching for colleges. So I looked in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Colorado, and Montana.
Awesome.
This is where I looked for schools, and I ended up with Bates.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And what do you want to study at Bates?
Environmental studies is the current plan. If we can try and save the environment, that's kind of what I'm looking to do, but it's an uphill battle, so we'll see.
Yeah, we do love snow, that's
we do love snow. If we can try and save the snow, I've got my Protect Our Winters sticker on the back of the computer right now. So.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So, and I think we'll get more into like what you're thinking, but just one little last piece on the patrol side before we kind of switch to 2020. So like you talked about responsibility as a young adult patroller and like feeling older, or maybe like you had a sense of like, all right, I got a job here, something like, I'm charged with protecting people. How, as a young adult patroller, as someone who can't even legally drive, or well, now you can, but you couldn't drive, you couldn't vote, right? Maybe like, do you have like one specific example or an experience or something that like sticks out in your head? Like, man, that was pretty cool. Like I'm a 16, 17-year-old, but like I really helped somebody, or like I really like showed my responsibility to the community or something like that. Any I know it's a tough one, but any like moments that stick out that you're like, man, that was something probably not a lot of 16-year-olds are gonna do.
I mean, in general, just if you know Black Mountain, we don't get a lot of calls. It's a pretty quiet, vintage place to ski. But I don't know about my first 3 years I can't really pick out a distinct one, but this past season, the Sunday of Martin Luther King weekend, I was the first one to show up, and just the way it worked out, I became hill captain for the day. Awesome. So I was in charge of the hill, and that was my first time kind of being the leader of who was on the crew that day.
Wow. Awesome.
And I mean, I was only 18 years old. This was my 4th year of patrolling, and we ended up having like 10 guys on that day. So just trying to, Dave Abel and all the others, my mentors or like patrol uncles, all kind of helped me through the day. But that was kind of a moment where I realized at 4:30 when we were doing sweep, I'm like, wow, I mean, it wasn't all my responsibility, but having that title for that day, and it ended up being one of our busiest days of the year. Wow. We had fresh snow that day, so we were deciding what trails to open and close. So that was kind of a moment where I realized how special being a Yap was. And I mean, at Black especially, because at other mountains that might not happen as often, but just the environment and the place that I chose to patrol, that's how it worked out.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's just such a huge responsibility as a
Oh, totally.
forget about being, in high school and a young adult patroller.
Yeah,
just I mean, a regular patroller, a hill captain that's a hill captain every week. That's a huge responsibility. So
yeah,
like I think that shows a great deal of the faith and trust that like your patrol and your mountain management like has in you.
Yeah.
And exactly like you said, the training that they gave you, that they knew that you could handle it,
And that day, I mean, I got there at 7 just because I live close to the hill. We had a bunch of new snow that day, so I was just like shoveling out everything at the lodge. And then because it was Black Mountain, we were short a few lifties, so we were all running lifts. So there were a bunch of responsibilities that day. Just being a patroller at Black Mountain, that's what you get. So like I was hill captain, and I think I ran our triple chair from 2:30 to 3:30 that day.
Yeah.
So it's a wild experience being a patroller at Black Mountain, but I wouldn't trade it for the world because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think definitely at mountains all over, we could go from being parking lot attendants. I mean, I know I've done them all: parking lot attendants, lift attendants, shoveling snow, to hill captain. And that's awesome that you jumped right in there. And I think that's a great kind of segue to like what I think the goal of, or the focus of tonight is. But just again, if you're tuning in, if you have questions, comments, things you want to ask Ethan, things you want to ask myself or Craig way in the back over there, feel free to type them in: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Any questions or comments on either?
S. Smamo loves the strategy for picking a school and remarking that it must have been a real honor to be a hill captain.
So I missed who it was. Was that on Facebook or Instagram? Instagram. Just people are saying it's a real honor to be a hill captain, which it definitely is. So, and let's talk about that. So, kind of getting into the whole pandemic and COVID-19 and you being a member of the class of 2020 things. Yeah. So I don't know if it was the last time we saw each other was at the Eastern Division YAP seminar 2 years ago. Was that the last time? Yeah. I think 2019.
That might have been, yeah.
And,
I think so.
And for those,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that was so because we didn't make it up to Black this year to ski, but for those who don't know, in last episode, Craig talked about the Hans Heisen Award, which if you missed it, go back and watch that episode. But give us the 5-second. What is it, Craig?
The 5-second of the Hans Heisen Award. Everything we've heard so far about Ethan Baker, speaking of leadership, of commitment, of dedication, of maturity, all these things that make you a well-rounded patroller, but not only on the hill, off the hill, a well-rounded person, someone who's willing to give of their time, of their effort, of their services without recognition. And I think Ethan fits that very, very well. He's a product of everything I've just said. And obviously his mountain management has recognized that by giving him, the authority and the leadership that he's been given.
Yeah. And that was more than 5 seconds, but I think you drove the
Sorry,
point.
I kept it to 25.
But yeah, so the last time we saw Ethan was actually when he was awarded that, and that was your first time at a young adult patroller division seminar. And, and
I drove myself out there for that weekend, and it was pretty awesome.
Exactly, and we were looking forward to having you back this year, and this is where we're getting into. For your senior year, your class of 2020, you did it 1 year. You went to the seminar, you found it was about, had a great time, showed your skills, and then I don't even know if you started traveling up yet or the next day, and everybody's ready to go, and then we had to cancel because of COVID-19. And that's kind of my first question for you as a member of the class of 2020. When we had to cancel the Young Adult Patroller Seminar, it was so unknown. What was it like? Just even like a gut feeling, and not just patrol and the seminar and the end of the season, but even just senior year of high school and seeing your friends in that early stage when nobody knew what was going to happen. What was it like for you and your class members? And I just want to add too, if there's anybody watching class of 2020, feel free to add it in and we'll shout it out too. But Ethan, what was that like, that early part when we didn't know?
It was just a really weird feeling because, especially living in kind of a structured and well planned out life that I've been given, fortunately, everything you knew what was going to happen in some way. And then all of a sudden, I mean, originally my school said that we were going to be out for 3 weeks, and I was like, sweet, I can go skiing for 3 weeks. But
Yeah.
then that same weekend was the last weekend of operations for most mountains in the area.
Yeah.
And then it started to sink in that this was going to be something a lot bigger than that. And it wasn't just going to be a 3-week little vacation in the middle of the winter that would have been a nice gift for us skiers.
Yeah.
And it was just a weird, raw feeling of not knowing what was going to happen. And I mean, honestly, it was, I don't know what else to say but weird. It was just kind of, we took it day by day, and then our remote classes started back up in April. So those 3 weeks in March, I mean, my life is more back to normal now, but I mean, it wasn't like a dark time for me, but it was just a weird time to just sit at home in March when you had everything planned out. And with my high school, the way it works is you finish your 3rd term, and then for your 4th term, you go on internship.
Yeah.
So I was 3 weeks away from finishing high school and then going on internship with my local fire department for the spring. That was going to be the plan. So once the internship got canceled, then I knew that things were really starting to get weird. And I don't know. You just started to learn to accept what was going to happen because you had no control over the situation at all. And you just had to sit at home and watch it all unfold before you.
Yeah. I think you nailed it on the head, and I really hadn't even thought about it like that, because those first couple weeks, I feel like a lot of us, I mean, myself included, I was like, all right, like that early spring is always a tough part through school. Like you're waiting for spring break, and last one was winter break, so that's that stretch. But then after, like you said, after like a week or two, you're like, all right, ski areas are closed, like people are really getting sick, like this is more serious. So it's just like you said, it's almost like we were tricked. We in our heads we're so ingrained as like, oh, time off, it's going to be awesome, and then we saw it happen, and it's still repercussions of it. Yeah. So I think that's a great point on the early piece. What about as the year went on and we got more towards the end of the year when, and like I'm a high school teacher, if kids don't know, and I saw a lot of it virtually through my seniors too, that, those, what about those things like prom and graduation, and how were you feeling, and how were your classmates feeling as you guys got closer to end of May and June?
It was weird. So I left school on March 13th and was expecting to see, we had our graduation on August 1st. So that was the first time I had seen everyone, obviously from a distance.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was nice it was so weird. I looked forward to Zoom calls with kids just because there was basically only 4 hours of the day that had a plan for me. And then those other 20 hours was just, I can do whatever I want. And I didn't really like that.
Yeah, I know. And
go
ahead.
Classes were fine. I mean, my school said that our grades couldn't go down; they could only go up. So if you had decently good grades, that meant a lot of kids just really checked out.
Yeah.
And I was kind of guilty towards that by the end, but I still showed up to class because I had nothing better to do.
Awesome.
I
don't know if it's because you had nothing better to do, but we'll say it's because you're a responsible kid, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
I mean, and surprisingly, I wanted to go to Zoom meetings just so I could see my teacher. And that was like, our school did a teacher parade through town in mid-April, and that was probably one of the weirdest experiences. I was so excited for that. And it was like 10 minutes of my teachers driving by in their cars. And it was really not a big deal. But for us, it was just to see everyone's faces again after we just kind of left without saying goodbye or anything like that. I mean, even just now, I mean, I'm glad to be done with high school at this point, and I'm excited to leave for school in a week. But it would be nice to go walk through my high school one more time just to I don't know, go through the memories a little bit.
Yeah.
Because on that Friday, I left school as quick as I could because like, sweet, we're on vacation. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah.
But that's not what it turned out to be.
Yeah. I think we have a couple questions and comments, but again, if you're watching, feel free to ask your questions to any of us, to Ethan, or comment on what your experience has been like. But any questions, Laura? Comments?
I think the school experience is resonating, and there's an Instagram question about the fire department internship.
Oh.
And sort of what that was supposed to be, and if he ever got a chance.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear the question, agreeing with you and feeling that sympathy, but yeah, the fire department internship. So talk about that.
So it actually kind of worked out in my favor because our fire chief in town. So it's the internship program that we do at our high school is run. It's a high school run thing. So you still have like a teacher that's overseeing the internship, even though you're doing it with another company or another town department or whatever. And I knew I wanted to do the fire department because a lot of guys on patrol were all in departments up north in North Conway area, Lincoln and Woodstock. So I was interested in the fire service. And so I had been talking with our local fire chief since the fall before about internships and the possibility of becoming a call firefighter because I was interested in that. And once the internship got canceled, it was going to be a 9-week internship. And basically, instead of going to high school anymore, I was still going to go in for my 2 AP classes.
Yeah.
But basically, I was just at the department doing everything that they were doing from 8 to 5 each day. So
Wow.
I would just kind of would have been thrown in with them as an intern, going on calls, learning all sorts of stuff, doing chores. So when that got canceled, I was pretty bummed. But during actually the last 2 weeks before everything got canceled, I had been agreed to be hired to be a call firefighter for the Norwell Fire Department.
Awesome.
And so I had just finished my PAT, physical ability test.
Yep.
I passed that the week before school got canceled. And then I was able to take my psych exam after things got canceled, the office was still open when things were still kind of in limbo. So the internship didn't happen, but I ended up getting hired as a call firefighter. And the internship wouldn't have been paid, but I ended up getting hired and started working for them in April because there were some kind of loops that I had to jump through with COVID and all their new policies joining the department. But I ended up becoming a call firefighter for them, and I'm still one right now.
Awesome.
So
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it goes to that like community service and that drive to give back, which, everybody who is a member of the National Ski Patrol has that, but I mean, that's awesome that you just bring that out. And like you said, you learned it from patrolling and now you're bringing that back to your community back home.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So we just got to get you to be an EMT now, right? And ride on
I know, right?
on the ambulance. So I think we got more questions. Go ahead.
We have a college question.
College question.
How are you feeling about heading off to college with all that's going on?
How are you feeling about heading off to college with all that's going
Oh
on?
boy.
That was one of mine for you too. So let's hear it.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited. I've been in Norwell for I love my family, and I bet anyone else who's of this certain age right now loves their family just as much, but I'm definitely ready to enjoy a little change of scenery.
Yeah.
To head up to Maine. So I leave a week from today to head up to Bates, and it's going to be the college tour I got last fall is a lot different from what I'm getting next week, which is definitely a bummer. So, I mean, I'm disappointed that it's going to be different, but I still have friends that aren't going to campus at all, and they're just going to be Zooming from their bedroom. So I'm fortunate that I'm going to be able to go to campus and that my college can pull off us being on campus for as long as possible.
Yeah.
The backside of that, though, is last weekend I filled out a 24-hour evacuation plan for my school. So
wow.
You want to be excited and you want to go learn and have fun. And I got my class scheduled last week. But at the same time, it's looming in the back of my mind, like UNC canceled. And I don't know, so there's all these other colleges that are starting. I mean, they're only 2 weeks into the process and they're already sending kids home. So I just hope, I'm excited to go, but I have fear that we're not going to make it to Thanksgiving and I'll be home here soon.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a weird time to be 18 years old right now.
I'd say it's a weird time to be any age, but
Exactly.
it's, I think you hit the head on the nail on the head there at 18. I mean, that's such a pivotal moment in every young adult's life there is because there's so many, whether you're going to school or going to trade school or going in and getting a job, it's a huge moment. And for everybody, it's up in the air right now. And there's got to be a sense. I mean, I think I could hear in your voice, there's definitely like a sense of nervousness for everybody,
Oh, totally.
And not only, and even for me as a teacher and Craig as a teacher, everybody that's going back to work, essential workers, and people working from home, people wonder am I going to have a job in 6 months or am I going to get sick or are my parents going to get sick or things like that. So,
exactly.
It's definitely, it's uneasy, and I think it's something that
I know.
the class of 2020 just has
Yeah.
had to deal with, and I think that speaks volumes about everybody who is a senior in high school this year.
Definitely.
About their life and something that they'll carry with them, and hopefully lessons that we can learn too.
Yeah.
Kind of like just like how you've modeled giving back to the community, getting involved as well, not just thinking about how it's about me, it's about we.
Yeah, exactly.
So any other questions right now or comments? So yeah, guys, keep those questions and comments coming. If you have for Ethan or Craig or I, whether it's about current times, class of 2020, or anything patrol related. But let's go. You actually talked a little about it before. Kind of when you were wrapping up, you said you wanted to go back to you would like not do anything, but like you'd really be interested just going back and walking around the hallways and reading it. In 10 years from now, how do you like, what do you think it'll be like looking back from 10 years and saying like, man, I was a senior in high school when coronavirus COVID-19 hit. Like, if you had to imagine 10 years from now, what's life going to look like, and what will it feel
10
like
years from now?
to look back?
Oh boy.
So you would be 28.
Hopefully
You'd be 28, right?
somewhere.
Yeah.
28.
28.
Chris, do you know how old you'd be?
I don't know. As old as you.
Oh.
So what's it going to look like in 10 years, you think, looking back?
I think we'll have an appreciation for how normal life is and how quickly normal life can change. Because now it'll be weird to go back, if we do go back, to going into a store and not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Like when I walk out of CVS like I did today, I ran to put my hand sanitizer on, and letting go. Like if once we get through this pandemic, fingers crossed, hopefully soon, it's going to be a weird adjustment. And then looking back to see, I don't know, the pre-COVID-19 versus post, if life will continue to be closer to what it is now or what it was like before. So I don't really know. I mean, life will be somewhat normal again, if we can say normal. I think the world has kind of changed, not permanently, but definitely it won't go back to 2019. Maybe I'm no expert on it. But if I have a job in the renewable energy industry and look back on those years, or as in right now, it'll just be kind of strange that, wow, I actually lived through that, and I was able to fill the time. What did you do for those 3 months of the spring and that summer? My sister's been writing in a journal every single day since we left school, and I kind of wish I did that so I could go back and look at what I actually did, because I mean, most of the time I probably just watched reruns of Seinfeld and ate too much strawberry ice cream, to be honest. That's what I'll probably remember of this time. But it'll just be, kids will be more resilient to change, because you have to just go with the flow when you're living in 2020.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny actually, like hearing you say that and hearing you answer that question, because for summer reading for my students at my school, the book I was going to read with my reading group was actually about 9/11. It was an oral history. And as a kid who grew up on Long Island, remembers that day and was old enough to have a concept, who now teaches students who were not even, they're born after it, it's weird. And I really was just thinking about it, I'm looking back on the events of September 11th, 20 years ago, and how things have changed, and it has shaped the world so much, but these kids don't understand. And it's kind of like maybe your generations, I don't want to say the same as September 11th, but the same, big moment that really shapes the world, and how is it going to change future generations? And you guys will look back on this and say, you wouldn't believe we all used to go to McDonald's together, like without masks on and without worrying about things. It's just it's very generational. And I guess getting back to the patrol sense, I think a lot of even in patrol wise, we see different things come and go throughout generations too. I'm sure, just like how I have, how Craig has, and how you have, you've learned from older patrollers, and I'm sure they used to say back in the day, we did things this way, and things are just so different now. And even
Yeah.
in a patrol sense, I mean, we talk about that unknown that you talked about earlier. Like, what does this mean for all of us patrollers for next, this season?
Yeah.
Like as riding on an ambulance, we're dealing with it. Riding in the fire department, you're dealing with it. But now we go out on snow.
Yeah.
So I think we have some more.
I know.
We have some more questions. Any questions over there?
Yeah, we have a ski question.
Ski question,
And then I have a question too.
and then Craig's got a question.
What's snow home base supposed to be, and any word on what your chances of skiing are this winter?
So, like, what's Ethan's snow home base since he's
Yeah.
going to Maine? So what? Yeah, when you go to Bates, what's your home base and what's your plans on skiing and I guess patrolling too, right? Yeah. So what are you doing ski wise?
So originally, I was gonna try and get on the Sunday River Patrol.
Oh,
That was kind of I was thinking of that. But then when Bates announced that I was going to be home from Thanksgiving to late January,
Yeah.
I figured that I can still get discounted rates at Sunday River just as a skier, and I can do those 2 months of patrolling in December and January, conditions permitting, fingers crossed, and world permitting. So I'll probably be back. The plan is to be back at Black this season.
Okay.
I get Lost Valley, which is a close place to Bates.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah,
like 5
Lost
minutes.
Valley,
That's
yeah.
5 minutes away, and
Yeah.
we get free skiing there. So
Awesome.
I'm definitely gonna bring a pair of sticks with me, and
All
if I
75
can
feet.
escape there for like 15 minutes, even if it's late at night,
There
I'll
you
try
go.
and get there. So, and I've never been to Sugarloaf, so I think I'll just patrol at Black.
Yeah.
I'll patrol at Black in New Hampshire, and then just kind of explore just as a regular skier in Maine, and then maybe next season I'll try and join the Sunday River Patrol.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's Go ahead, Craig.
Very nice. Going back to your 10-year plan there, where do you see yourself within National Ski Patrol in 10 years? Are you still involved with National Ski Patrol? Are you still involved at your local hill? Or have you taken on a different role of leadership? Or has this prepped you for maybe a career path? What does National Ski Patrol play in 10 years?
Well, no matter what, I'm gonna figure out a way to patrol somewhere. So I think that's kind of a lifelong thing. I'm not stopping anytime soon. I'd love to get my senior sometime soon. I don't know if that'll happen during college.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
But I'll definitely try and get that done. I could see myself being a patrol director in 20 years. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of jumps to get through. I know it's a big talk, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if I can just be involved in NSP in any way, no matter where I'm living. Ideally, I would finish my education at Bates and escape to the West for a few years and just work as a patroller somewhere out there.
Nice.
Okay.
I was wearing my Big Sky Ski Patrol hat on earlier.
Oh, awesome.
So
Nice.
I'm still dreaming about that.
Yeah.
I know I almost went, I was heavily considering Montana State University in Bozeman because
Ooh,
I wanted to go West, and obviously I ended up at Bates. But to answer your question, Craig's, I'll definitely be patrolling somewhere. Hopefully I'll have my senior by 10 years from now, and as long as I'm on the snow, I'll be happy.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure we'll tag Big Sky and Sunday River in this post so that they can
All
just
right,
fill
cool.
out that application for you. What would
Exactly.
do you have another question, Craig? Or go ahead.
We have people from the West who have just turned in case you were wondering. Maybe with your answer there, somebody on
All
the
on the West Coast.
other part of the United States can maybe plug you in there. Hey, Steve Benz, thanks for tuning in. But no, that's not directed to you. Go ahead, Chris.
So I kind of going off that note as we chuckle here. How let's say other kids that are your age, that other members of your class of 2020, maybe they patrolled, maybe like all of us, they had a lackluster ending to the ski season, and maybe they're on the fence about patrolling in the future. What would you say to them of like maybe how to stay involved, or maybe why should they stay involved if they're I don't know, and what would you say to them? I don't know, just curious on your thoughts.
Honestly, I mean, I'm pretty biased in one direction, but I don't know why you would give it up. I mean, it's such a cool experience, and you tell people you're a patroller, especially if they ski too, then you get that little extra respect. But in general, I mean, it's a great way to give back to your community. You can ski at a discounted or free rate. And it's an easy way to get outside and just have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to help people. You get to be on the hill all day, which is my favorite part. I think my favorite moments of every year is sunset on the mountain during sweep, because at 4:30 the sun's setting over Mount Washington behind Black Mountain.
That's awesome.
And those moments, once the lift stops and you're up there by yourself, there's no greater feeling in the world. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to experience that. So if you can, I know it might be hard if you can't find a refresher somewhere or you don't know where to patrol. I think if you can just stick with it, even if you have to kind of take a break for 5 years or you don't do as much as you can, just keep your OEC and keep that red jacket. So eventually later in life, you can hold on to it.
That's awesome. Those are awesome words coming from a peer, not an old guy like me or older guy like Craig, but that's awesome. So I think we're going to wrap up here in a few minutes. So just if you have any last minute questions or comments, throw them in here. Do we have any right now, Laura, or no? So just another 2 minutes for questions or comments if you're watching on Instagram or Facebook. But while we're waiting for those, I know we've been saying we're going to do some giveaways here. And we have, Ethan, we showed you before, but we got these. Yep. I'll show them here. These sick young adult program National Ski Patrol
flat brim
stickers, baby. To hats to give away. So we got 2 hats for this episode to give away. So Ethan, I'm going to let you do the first one here. So,
oh boy,
what's one? And to win a hat, guys, you got to answer Ethan's question here. So come up with anything, a patrol question, a life question, something we talked about here. Just nothing hard, but people can jump in. And the first one to jump on here with a correct comment is going to get some swag. So,
all right.
Wow. You guys are cool hats, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
They are. They're very cool hats. All right. Let's think of a NSP question here. How about when was the National Ski Patrol first established?
Oh!
I mean, if you don't know that one, then I don't know, man. You gotta.
All right. So
that should be a nice giveaway. I mean, it's a great hat. Everyone's got a good chance here.
So when was the NSP first founded? I'm watching the comments. Laura's watching the comments. You know the answer, right, Ethan? Oh man,
he's got to go off camera to look it up.
Hey, yeah.
Come on, let's see those comments come in if you want a free hat.
I guess I'm gonna have to keep the hats.
Oh man, how about? Oh, I see 1938. Who's Corey? 1938. What year is it? I thought so, right? 1936, 1938, 1936. Not 63. Oh my goodness.
Oh, come on.
So wait, we're gonna double check here. I can't believe Ethan, you were supposed to know the answer to the question, and now I'm having
I think it's 38.
Is it 38?
I believe so. Mini Dole.
I think so, right? Craig's, all right, so Corey 013. DM us on Instagram.
Corey. All right.
Yeah,
You're
Steve.
Okay.
So 1938. Yeah, Steve Vin says 1938. I knew that. We were just testing you guys. All right. I wanted to double check here. So,
I knew it all along. Don't worry.
Yeah. So our second hat that we're going to give away, we're going to ask a question just about this conversation, this broadcast we have with Ethan Baker here. Craig, do you have a question lined up that maybe we talked about?
I don't have a question yet, but if I could wrap up this interview, if you look at our backdrop here, it says Everyday Heroes. And I know it might be backwards for some of you. There's no way we can correct that. But it says Everyday Heroes. And everything Ethan has said on this interview, he resembles that right there. He resembles the National Ski Patrol. He resembles a hero. He's part of the class of 2020. He's a member of the National Ski Patrol. He's part of COVID-19. He didn't get to experience those things that he wanted to experience in this year. But yet, his attitude, his outlook, his ability to differentiate, his perspective on things makes him an everyday hero. Not just on the hill at Black Mountain, but an everyday hero in life, an everyday hero. Ethan, from me to you, I give you a huge, huge applause, sir. Well done as an 18-year-old. Your maturity, your level of leadership, your level of respect. If I had a hat on, it would be hats off to you, my friend. Well done. You
Thanks,
are
Craig.
a true everyday hero.
Thanks, guys.
And going off that, our last hat giveaway. If you were watching before, if you scrolled through, what was Ethan's internship supposed to be this year before it got canceled? And now he's actually he got around it and got around the COVID. He beat it, and now he's working for that department in town. So if you could tell me what Ethan's internship was supposed to be and what he is now doing for the town of Norwell, since his internship got canceled, you'll win this other free hat. And I'll give you a hint. Oh, and S. Samano, the fire department. That's right. Ethan's a 18-year-old call firefighter, and he was supposed to do
And
the
who's the winner of that hat, Chris?
S. Samano.
S. Samano.
So-
I need to send you their address one way or
Yep,
another.
S. Samano, just DM us, and Corey 013 for the other hat. So Corey, S. Samano, great job.
Yeah.
And Ethan, we'll have to send some stickers to you in the mail or something for doing this.
All right. Sounds good.
So, guys, everybody that's watching, that's tuned in, thank you so much. Craig really summed it up and wrapped it up here. Ethan is just one of the many, many, many everyday heroes that we have in the National Ski Patrol, and he's making the young adult program proud. He's getting out there, serving his community, just having fun, making turns. That's what it's all about, you know.
Exactly.
So,
Gotta get on the snow.
So, Ethan, best of luck to you as you
Thank
move
you.
forward, as you go up to Bates in a week.
Woo.
And, we hope it goes well and that hopefully we can get back to a sense of normalcy soon. So
Yeah.
best of luck, and I'm sure everybody here wishes you the same. For those of you watching that want to tune in for the next episode, I guess, should I just tell them who our next guest is?
Oh, boy.
I guess we might as
boy.
well.
Oh, boy.
So our next guest on the
The one, the only.
on the Eastern Division Young Adult Program Everyday Heroes live broadcast. Our next guest coming in, we'll let you guys know a day. It's going to be around the middle of September on a Thursday night. Will be the former Eastern Division Director, Mr. John Kane from Sunday
boy.
River Maid. Oh, we got an
Yeah.
applause from Ethan.
Yeah.
So,
Love John Kane. He's the
yeah,
best.
he is something else, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for the middle of September. We'll get a date out to you in the next week or two for another Thursday night. But our next guest on the Everyday Heroes live broadcast will be
Everyday hero.
John Kane, former Eastern Division Director, and he's running for the national board of the National Ski Patrol. So
Well, that's not why we picked him.
that's totally not. We just want to get an invite to go play on the lake when this is all said and done. You know?
Or Sunday River.
Yeah.
Or Sunday River. So
Or Sunday River.
So,
We can all meet at Sunday River.
exactly. So everybody stay tuned for our next episode. We hope you guys enjoyed watching. Stay safe out there. Stay socially distant. And Ethan, thank you for all you've done for the Young Adult Program and for the National Ski Patrol.
Thank you guys, and thanks for everyone for watching out there.
Awesome.
Right on, Ethan. Peace.
Stay tuned, guys. Follow us on social media. All right. I think we are. All right. We are live on Facebook.